stepfather. My stepfather was always working with children when I was growing up. He worked at the juvenile justice committee, so he was always teaching kids and being around them. So, when I went to college, I majored in sociology and social work. So I thought I wanted to still kind of follow that same field with kind of a social work field background. But then when I graduated, I realized that that's not what I wanted to do. So then, I started teaching at an autistic school, which was pretty difficult. It was really, really difficult, actually. I've actually never dealt with being abused by kids. But, you got to realize it's not you that the problem is. It's a lot of different things with autistic children in some type of spectrum, So, I did that. Then I realized, that wasn't really for me. Although, it was really rewarding to be around these children, I just knew that I wanted something a little bit different, something that was less hands-on and more of me teaching students. So then I started teaching at another school in Philadelphia, and I was a reading teacher. I was in there for about 2 years. I was pretty much a first grade reading teacher. And then one thing about me is anytime when I feel like I kind of serve my purpose and I want more, I go after more. So, I knew that the area that I was living in New Jersey, and I was living with my parents. But then I knew to myself, okay, you graduated college and now you feel like you're stagnant. You kind of feel like you're back where you was before you graduated. So I already went to, school in Maryland, and I knew that I wanted to take my talent to the DMV area because I was familiar with it. A lot of my close friends and people that, I've been able to kind of stay in contact with all these years, lived in the same area. So, I moved out here June of 2019, and I tell everybody that I'm friends with and my colleagues and my family that's moving out to the DMV area was the best choice I could have made.
Inspiration came from my mother, actually. Okay. My mom is very educated. She's been in education for over 20 plus years. And so, kind of just being around her and, going to her classroom as a young kid and being able to sit in her classroom and kind of just see the things that she does and being able to impact the child's life in a positive way. She taught social studies also. And so it was kind of in me to kind of take that route. So she's definitely been a huge inspiration to me when it comes to education. And then also, I have a cousin that teaches here at Stuckey with me. Before I became a teacher, I still worked here at Stuckey. This is my 4th year here. And the first 2 years, I was a paraeducator. I worked in what is called the PBS program. And so my cousin was already here teaching too. He taught 7th grade, I believe, at the time. And so to be able to see a Black man, an African-American man, that was close to me and kind of see the things that he was able to do in the classroom and the connection that he was able to have with students, that was also a huge inspiration. And so when the opportunity arose, and I was able to take advantage, and here I am today trying to inspire just like they did.
Talk is a group, and the group is, it's actually more now of like a social group. It's becoming a kind of global group. So BMS Talk was started by some educators, and those educators, Black male teachers, got together, and they want us to form a chat to kind of connect with other Black male educators around the country, right, and around the world.
Right.
So this is year 3, I believe. Year 3. I believe it's year 3. So anyway, I got on the first couple of chats, connected with some guys, followed them on Twitter. And so they have a chat every week. It's on Tuesdays at 8 o'clock Eastern, I believe. 8 o'clock Central. 7 o'clock Eastern time. Sorry, 7 o'clock Eastern, 7 p.m. Eastern time. And so we get on there. It's 5 or 6 questions. You get on there. You follow, some of the guys, principals, teachers, administrators, superintendents, all from all the gambit, right? So you can connect with those. And So now, when it turned into a little chat, it's now turning into kind of like this great way to find and connect with Black male educators, right? So Ayodele Harrison, who kind of is leading it, he now is doing workshops across the country because there wasn't really a space for Black male educators on Twitter that we had seen that was consistent enough to connect, right? So these brothers that are doing it are consistent, and they have a format, they've got plans, and what they do is they want to welcome you into the chat, right? So I know Damian was a guest host before. I've been a guest host before. And so if you're looking for a space, you may be in a district where you might be the only one, right? Where I teach, like, there ain't no brothers except for me and my brother. That's it. And there's maybe 2,000-3,000 educators. There's maybe a couple more, but that's it. 5 or 6 out of 2,000. So it's a great space within Twitter that's created its own little space.
I'll give you 3.
All right.
Right off the top. First thing I would do, I would throw away all the textbooks, every one of them, because a lot of the textbooks that are created have been institutionalized. And there are so many racist tones inside of those textbooks that people just don't know and people don't see. And so we end up honoring a lot of our American heroes without learning the gritty details to our America. The second thing I would do, I would pay the teachers 6 figures, starting salary, 6 figures. A lot of people believe that teachers don't work 12 months a year, and they do, but they don't believe that because back in the 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th century, teachers only worked during the fall and the spring, and then the summer they were off, because then that's when they could harvest the land and get the crops and sell the crops. So you needed all hands on deck. So that's why summers became summers off. Third thing is to dismantle the system of learning. And what does that mean? That means that we expect everybody to sit in their chairs, sit in their seats, be quiet for however many hours, and learn a lesson without talking. And nobody learns that way. Now, the system that was set up that way, 14th, 15th, 16th century system, one-room schoolhouse, and it was designed for white people. So dismantle that entire system.
Making the world a safe place is really just modeling what you expect from your students. I know when I was a student, a younger student, but in high school, middle school, elementary school, I thought my teachers were the world. I would be like, Mr. Jones this, Mrs. Davis that, whatever it is, I would always, think highly of them. However, when I got older, I realized, some of that, could be phony, if that makes sense. So, as teachers, to really have your students, be positive, productive citizens of society, as I would say, you have to model being a positive, productive citizen of society. Yeah. Because, you can't be a saint in school, but you cussing out somebody at the grocery store. But your student sees you cuss somebody out in the grocery store. Now the student has a thought embedded in their mind, like, okay, Mrs. Davis might not be the same Mrs. Davis that I see in the classroom. So it's all about modeling what you expect.
That would like to go into education, they need to spend time in schools, right? Just get out there, volunteer and spend time and actually know what's happening, Don't just go off based off of, okay, this is what I think it's going to be like. And there are certain things, as a child, like, okay, this is going to be like this, it's going to be like this, and then even in college, this is going to be like this is going to be like this. And then you actually get there and like, oh my goodness, this is not what I expected, so it is quite shocking if you haven't spent time really, okay, let me go and actually figure out what's happening here. And then once you get familiar with it, you can kind of start working, working your way within the confines of the system. For Black males in particular, I would say, the students and the children truly do need you, right? They truly need you. I remember before I became a teacher, I went to my friend, she graduated maybe like a year ahead of me. So I was like, let me just go in and visit one. Let me go to her school. And I remember walking into a classroom. She was teaching second grade at the time, and the students were doing some kind of presentation. They were presenting on their class projects. I walked into a classroom, and there was this little black boy whose face just lit up when he saw me. Because first and foremost, there are not many males that are elementary teachers. And then when he saw me, he was like, oh, and he was like, it was like he saw a ghost, or like it was just something that was just he didn't see. I would say to especially our black males, you are needed in this profession, and it's something that is powerful. There's a lot of research on it, but I'm just saying, just going into these schools, you feel it. You know, your presence is powerful. Just walking into the building. And I've seen the power that, you know, having those male role models how that can help students.